Hi, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. I hope you are enjoying the last video clip, which was episode 65. Basically, I was just running you through with substantial evidence of my actual diary, just showing what I did from week to week while I was working for my employer. So my employer at that point of time is the Ministry of Justice. However, back in 2002, it was called the Department of Courts. I was a deputy registrar, and my job title at that time was jury trials, depositions, and I was a registrar for the courts. Now that job entailed fully case managing high profile cases, in a deposition hearing. I was responsible for case managing the cases. So I was responsible for handling the exhibits, handling the whole file itself, liaising between counsel and judiciary. But it was a deposition hearing. So for those that don't know what a deposition hearing is, a deposition hearing is where indictable cases get heard before the courts. This is where the counsels bring forth the evidence, or the prosecutors bring forth the evidence against the defendant. And cases I used to deal with was sexual violation cases, murder cases, serious fraud cases, all that kind of cases. That was purely my role. At that point of time, there was actually two of us doing that role, and so at that time it was split alphabetically. It was A to Z, and we did half of each section. So if you've been following me, that is what an indictable case is according to the courts, the laws, is only to deal with really serious hardcore cases. During this period of time, I was case managing and handling the exhibits, and just have full charge of the whole deposition file, and then it's brought before a judge, before the courts. This is where they bring forth any witnesses, and the witnesses have to give evidence in court. We hadn't transitioned yet to the purely just recording FTR. We used to have a stenographer actually in court typing every single word for word as the witnesses give evidence in court. I'm actually responsible to read back all the evidence before court, and during this period of time, while the evidence has been read before the court, of the typed evidence that was typed by the stenographer during the depositions hearing when the witnesses are giving evidence. So that's what my role was during depositions. We read the evidence back that the witness says, then the witness gets to sign it. Sign each page after they read it, so the witness is actually listening to what I'm reading to them or reading to the court. And if there's any errors or corrections, it's done immediately. Then it's initialed like an error. So that's all initialed. And then at the end of it, the witness gets to sign each page, initial it, and sign the end of the evidence, because that's their evidence before the court, that what they have said in court is true and correct to the best of their knowledge and belief. And they're also sworn in before they're actually giving their evidence. That's what a registrar did, and that was my role. I opened court, I case managed the file, I read the evidence in court. I'm responsible. Judge is my highest priority. We have to be on the same boat about everything. Accuracy was really important. I'm also responsible when the defendant's been charged of a charge. You have to actually read. Back in those days, you had to actually read the information in court, and word for word whatever the prosecutor has charged the defendant for. That was my first role when I did the courts. Then I kind of moved away from there. Circumstance change, and I decided to move to another state because of family, and then I worked in the summary jurisdiction, which is completely different from indictable charges. What we have here is, this is Monday the following week. I had a JP court that day. So it was a public holiday on Friday, public holiday on Monday. So when there's a public holiday on Monday, custody courts are open on Saturday and Monday, just to let the custody, those who are locked up in custody, out and refer their hearing to another day, hearing date. Then on Tuesday was work again, and I had a judge alone day with Judge J. Clubb, and police prosecutor was B. Leonard, and myself, Minna. A judge alone court is where defendants or complainants or someone wants to defend their case, and they can have someone to represent them, a lawyer. I've actually sat in court cases where members of the public or the defendant has represented themselves, or a plaintiff has represented themselves in court. Because it's their file, they're allowed to. That's the only reason why they're allowed to represent themselves, because it's their file. They can get a lawyer if they choose to. That's how it is here in New Zealand. So I did quite a lot of judge alones. So there's two choices. A judge alone hearing, or you can select to have it your case heard before a jury. But the courts that I was in didn't do jury trials, so we had to transfer out any cases that wanted to go, before jury trial. They elect to go jury trial, so we transfer that to the more senior courts, because this court I'm at right now on this year is a district court. Just a quick flashback. So that's my week. Just confirms over here. This year I did a CMS list day. Basically I was in court all this week and a busy week last week. So that's what my weeks are like. On this particular day here, which is Thursday 29th, I'm not actually in court. I'm actually on hub, which means I don't have to take court at all. People in the hub desk receiving the files that come out of court that needs to be updated. So that's what Hub Desk was for. They were like our backup people. If we needed anything, we'd ring them, and then they'll send someone into court and bring a file in, or anything that judge has instructed, we let the Hub Desk know. Or if we needed security, we let them know we need security, anything like that. We had a court activity system in place at this time, which meant some of us didn't all have a set job. Some of us were moved around a lot. As you can see already, I've just gone over a whole week. I did a different thing every single week. Nothing was the same. But when you're a bit experienced, you're expected to be able to throw in the deep end and pick up the pieces and just deal with it, because that's how it got sometimes in court, working for the courts. We had a set up roster. We can go in there and see what we're doing in 2 weeks' time, what we're scheduled to do. And then that is on the board for the day. So usually by the end of the week, everybody knows what they're doing on Monday when they come in. So you're doing different courts every single day. So that's what the court activity team did, which was most of us. We had set case officers. Their job was to just case manage. Very rare they had to do court taking or taking the courts, because their role is to actually case manage the cases, like do the massive work of it. My role, it entailed being multitask and you're case managing at the same time. Yeah, after years of experience, you're basically thrown in court when you're needed, like a backup for each other or team player as part of the role. And then, but how it works when a registrar receives a file, they're responsible for that file, for their role or their job description, whether it's taking a list court or just making sure it's there for a list date or whatever it is set down for that day. The registrar is responsible for that. But everything's backtracked if something's not right, or they need to find out, okay, where did this case go wrong? If someone makes a complaint, which usually happens, or the judge makes a complaint, or someone in public office, like councils, prosecutor, are not happy about something, they would let management know. As a registrar, which I was quite a bit of a perfectionist, I always covered my tracks. I haven't written down anything for the day as far as court, but I did have a few meetings that day. Usually I'm in the office or I've got some meeting that I've got to go to. This day I was on Hub Desk for the whole day. Monday came, I'm doing a community magistrate court. Then the following day I'm doing a judge alone court again. My judge for this day was Judge J. Glubb, and the police prosecutor was Sergeant B. Leonard, and I was the registrar for the court this day. The next day, had another court. I was in court again. So basically, I'm just showing you, this is what I did when I was working for my occupation. It was a kind of job. It was very involved, always under pressure. And then see, I had sentencing day that week again, and I Judge Mathers again on that week. Then I had police prosecutor Andrea Reid, Had her again the following day, had Judge Mather again that same day. So that was a sentencing day, sentencing court date. This here was a Department of Correction, so a different prosecutor. It was another judge alone day. Then it came public holiday, no courts. I didn't work on that day. We take turns doing Saturday court or do the stats. We get paid for it too. We have a roster for that too. Friday was a Waitangi day. I did Saturday court this week. I've got over here, I did Saturday court. So Saturday court's usually before our JP. I had Justice of the Peace Stark. Saturday court, the registrar is left on their own. Nobody else is working but you and maybe the security and the police. The registrar on Saturday does everything. Sort of get to over here. I'm on hub desk for the day, and then every other day before that I've been in court. I was in court for this one again. Just trying to think what this hearing was for. Got it down for long cause hearing. That's obviously was a special hearing day. It was a different court altogether. So I'm just going to go through my diary. As you can see, it's quite full on for me every day. I had a system going to an Excel just for me. It wasn't for anybody else, where I updated every day of every single case that I did for the day. So here we had I judged Tremuan on this day, and I had special notes because every judge has a preference. What I mean is they make little requests that they want done before we open up to the public. So they normally let us know what they want specifically done before they come into a court. If a judge wants a specific something done before court, that's what the registrar did. Just as confirmation, on the specific day, which was the 24th of April, I was a PSA delegate for courts. Delegate that I worked with was David Hartland, and the organizer at this time was Glenn Cooper. So this is the year 2015. On this day, I had a PSA delegate day where usually we are off the work site sometimes, and we meet up with other delegates from different regions, and we usually have meetings with all the delegates. A delegate role is like leadership role, and you're working closely with management. We usually combined all our regions issues and complaints and bring it forth together as a team meeting at a delegates meeting. And then when management comes in, usually they have a set time that the regional office, the managers come into our meeting, and then we'll sit down and we'll discuss all the issues that was addressed, or questions, things that needed to be addressed that was asked by the members. And this is where we get to have a conversation with the managers. And I also did a lot of workshops, which is NCQA workshops. being a delegate, it's actually being a leader. It's a leader role. So I was doing that in courts. I was always full on. So even though I was in court, something was going on with PSA, I was doing all that in between, doing my court, doing my wash up, doing PSA. It's really full on. Yeah, this is another day where I had a PSA meeting, and these are the kind of things that I took forward to our Northland regional meeting, where we talked about things that the staff wanted me to take to the meeting. There were things to do with induction packages, list of members meeting, recruiting new members. These are the kind of things we talked about. Workload, stress, security, health and safety management, overtime and toil, sick leave, annual leave. We even had talked about anything to do with bullying. I've also been involved in disciplinary cases where staff have been, something's gone wrong or something between management and the staff. So I've kind of been like a support person as a delegate. And when there was a strike, I was involved with all that. So over here, I see it's a bit of a busy day. I'm in the sentencing court with Judge Bruce Singh, and prosecutor was Andrea Reed. And then we had a Crown prosecutor, Jono Good. Over here, I had, the next day I had Judge Mathis. They're both sentencing court. So, yes, over here I had a sentencing court date again, and this was with Judge Mathis, and the prosecutor was Stuart King.